It's not often in speedrunning that the fastest times stand for more than 5 years. Someone comes along, improves an old record, and pushes the game forward, but that's not always the case. Metal Gear Solid VR Missions, an expansion pack with miniature challenge levels for those hungering for more MGS action, has seen 2 decades of work, including 2 tool-assisted speedruns, but a few levels have stood since release. This all changed on December 11th, 2019, when a new strategy discovered by DLimes13 completely revolutionized a sizable portion of the game's levels. Hi, my name is Plywood, and I've been speedrunning Metal Gear games for nearly 3 years. In this video, I'm going to share with you how this strategy works, its significance, and some of the history of Metal Gear Solid VR speedrunning. In 1999, Metal Gear Solid VR Missions released, expanding on the VR training featured in the original version of MGS. The game has 300 stages divided up into 4 categories: sneaking, weapons, advanced, and special. In a typical level, you must sneak, destroy targets, or kill enemies before reaching a circular goal. What many may not know about the VR Missions pack is that the Konami staff behind the game maintained a leaderboard for the fastest times and best scores. In fact, an archived webpage still exists on Konami's website, mostly in Japanese. The staff challenged fans to beat their best scores, noting both the best Konami time and fan time. Players receive prizes in the mail for their successful results against staff members. It is a real trip looking through these pages, with Japanese players and staff remarking on their strategies and approaches, along with a bulletin board featuring many users excited for Metal Gear Solid 2. Some may not associate the Metal Gear series, games that focus heavily on film-like storytelling, with speedrunning, but the reality is, a small group of dedicated players were happily speedrunning these stages, pushing the game and its mechanics to the limits in 1999. Here, we can find evidence of times achieved 18 to 20 years ago. Sneaking No Weapon 5, 5.48, Sneaking No Weapon 6, 6.35, and Sneaking No Weapon 14, 6.30. Why are these times in particular significant? Well, these are some of the oldest standing records in existence for the game, with no one, not even the TASes by the Englishman, being able to defeat them. VR players were stuck with stages that were completely maxed out by the game's mechanics, with only hopes to tie the best time. My oh my, how things change. After support of the Konami boards ended, players continued to improve upon VR. To keep things brief, we will look to the last few years. The Englishman, who has done multiple TASes of Metal Gear Solid, made a TAS of VR in late 2013, and an improved TAS in summer 2017. For many in the Metal Gear speedrunning scene, these levels were peak play for the game, as the Englishman could play frame by frame in an emulator, perfectly angling shots and manipulating guards. While tools are extremely useful, at the end of the day, TASes are made by humans, not machines. Creativity, innovation, and coincidence in speedrunning can shake things up. A game is only as solved or optimized as much as people agree that it is. One of the players in the VR scene rethinking what's possible is DLimes13. He improved on some TAS times before this new discovery. These include Mystery 5 by 0.07, Puzzle 7 by 0.17, Variety 2 by 0.12, and Variety 5 by 0.18. Alongside VR, the main game speedrun continued to improve. One strategy used in the main game is shifting Snake's weight in first-person view to dodge attacks. What we didn't know at the time was leaning in first person would be a sea change in VR. Luckily for us, DLimes recorded the moment that Sneaking No Weapon 1, the first level in the game, was improved upon for the first time since 2013.
Oh my god! Oh.
Excellent, Snake.
My god. Oh my god, dude.
Let's break down how this new technique works before going into the significance. When you enter first-person view, you can shift your weight left or right. This affects Snake's hitbox, so if an attack goes to where Snake is standing, he dodges it. But when returning to third-person view, he returns to his original position. In other words, leaning changes Snake's hitbox temporarily. In the past, VR runners would optimize their line to enter the closest part of the goal circle. But due to a programming oversight, the goal point in VR does not care whether or not Snake enters the goal. If Snake's hitbox enters the goal, you successfully complete the stage. Thus, by positioning Snake parallel to the goal, you can save time by a fraction of a second. So far, the maximum time saved with this strategy is 0.22. In order to maximize the lean, you must turn Snake quickly, be at the maximum distance, and hold triangle, then hold L1 or R1 to lean left or right. You cannot press both buttons at the same time, as the game must register that Snake is entering first-person view. In other words, you need to slightly delay pressing the shoulder button. When done optimally, it doesn't even look like FPV, but the camera swinging around. Remember those levels I mentioned earlier? Sneaking No Weapon 5 went from 5.48 to 5.29. Sneaking No Weapon 6 went from 6.35 to 6.14, and Sneaking No Weapon 14 went from 6.30 to 6.10. 20 years of attempts from players across the world completely demolished. Any stage where you run into a goal, this can be performed. This includes all of Sneaking No Weapon, 15 stages that are the most commonly run. Some stages are completed so fast that optimally you stand on the goal before it spawns. Other stages, there is no goal to speak of, such as the 1-minute score battles. We can approximate that around a quarter to a third of all levels can use the lean to save time. D-Limes actually knew about leaning into the goals beforehand.
I've always known leaning was a thing. It looks goofy because Snake's not really on the goal. I do it from time to time if I'm kind of goofing around.
I asked D-Limes13 some questions for this video about the strategy discovery.
To make a contribution like this, it's really a surreal feeling. I mean, a game that's been out this long, so much tech, so much research has been done with this game. I found something that I call kind of silly. It's just bizarre. I mean, I constantly ask myself, how was this not found sooner? And I had no idea that it would lead to such a big discovery where we save time in these levels. Well, VR, it's obviously short segments, super precise movement, and high-level execution. If you make a mistake, you just restart, try again, and you're doing it again in 20 or 30 seconds. You're not an hour deep in the run, ruining it. It's a very tight-knit community. We're all nerds to a degree when it comes to this stuff. Get certain times and certain levels down. It's a very friendly, chill, laid-back community. There's a bunch of people that share the same passion that I do for this, so it's a very, very welcoming community, and I'm blessed to be a part of it.
Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please consider supporting my work on Twitch and YouTube, and check out MetalGearSpeedrunners.com. I'll leave the final words to D-Limes.
Long live the lean.